Hello friends, welcome back to Chesticles. I'm Jacqueline and I'm telling you stories of insane, stupid, dumb things that I've done in my life just for fun. I hope you please follow and please tell me what you think of the podcast. There's a question at the bottom that says, what did you think of this podcast? Let me know. Give me some ideas of some stories you want to hear, because I got a lot of them. I'm telling you that part. I'll start with this one today. So I was playing with my little nephew, who was a baby, with a puzzle, and my brother-in-law, he is playing back and forth with me, and it was a puzzle of the states. Do you remember those puzzles? They were each state, and then you had like a little peg on the state, and you lift up the state of the puzzle that tells you what the capital is. So just for fun, my brother-in-law and I are going back and forth, and I was pretty impressed. I was actually getting some of these capitals. We're playing. So it's my turn. I take the puzzle back. I'm looking at it, and I look, and you know how Alaska and Hawaii are down there, on the left. And I said out loud to my very intelligent brother-in-law, oh my gosh, I never realized Alaska and Hawaii are so close together. I literally thought for that quick second that the map was actually real. They have to put them close together because they don't have enough room. He replied, I can't believe I never knew. I mean, the climate is so similar. Why wouldn't they be right next door to each other? I said, I just can't believe they're right next so close to each other. And he answers, Jacqueline, you did not just say that. And as soon as I said it, of course, I realized how stupid I was. But these are things I do. Just another one to add to the list. Not only do I do stupid things, but people have said pretty stupid things to me in my lifetime. And I'm going to tell you some stories about things that have actually been said to my face. This isn't stuff that people have said behind my back. Oh, no, that would be too kind. People have actually said these things right to my face, and I don't know why. Maybe because I'm easy to talk to, people feel like they can just say anything they want to me. I don't know, but I didn't get married until I was 34. I told you that before. I was always worried to get married, and people say, oh, you're scared to get married. I was scared to get divorced is what I was scared of, because, it was just so prevalent. And I don't know, so many people in my family were divorced. My parents were both divorced twice, from each other, and then their seconds, and grandparents were divorced. It just seemed to me, looking out there, that doesn't anybody see the only way that you can avoid divorce is to not get married? I don't know. It just was, I was a little nervous about the whole divorce thing. But I really wanted children, and I finally did, find the one. Well, very often, as I told you, I was a dental assistant, an expanded functions dental assistant for many years first before I got into the corporate part of it. And so, you get very intimate with patients, you're right on top of them. I mean, you've been to the dentist, very close. And a lot of people get anxious just because of that. So a lot of times I would let people, what they said and do, I would chalk it up to, they're not themselves. They're nervous. They're anxious. They feel uncomfortable. They feel out of control, But some people said things to me that just, I don't get. For example, and this is in an office that I was working that was on the main line of Philadelphia, which is very well known for old money and, maybe some snobbishness. That might be what you might consider the main line has a reputation for. And, you see patients, they come in, they get a lot of work done, so you get to know them. And I was always very friendly, so I guess they figured they could say whatever they want. And I had one patient, she said to me, you have such a beautiful face. I said, oh, well, thank you so much. She said, if you would lose weight, I bet you then you'd get a boyfriend. She said that right to my face. And then she stood me up and, there's a mirror for the patients to see their new smile. But she stood me in front of the mirror and she pulled my hair back and she put it like up in a twist. And she, look at this gorgeous face. She said, but if you just lost a little bit of weight, I think you need to work on that, because this way you can get a boyfriend. Now, mind you, I had plenty of boyfriends and I had plenty of dates, but since there wasn't anybody steady, this was always the thing, because people just were in shock that I wasn't married. And very often I would get these comments. I had another patient. This was a gentleman, real jovial guy. Always, hey, how you doing? What's going on? Real nice guy, And every time he came in, he'd say the same thing. So, you married yet? I said, no, not yet. I don't understand it. I don't get it. You're a nice girl. You dating anybody? I said, no, nobody special. Just, And he goes, what is it? Do you think it's your weight? No, when I tell you, I may have been back then maybe 20 pounds overweight, if that, It was like my thinner days, And I have these people telling me that I can't meet someone because I'm fat. I mean, it's just so comical. And the funny part is they weren't trying to be mean. They really weren't. I know they weren't. They were just so, perplexed. And I just felt like, geez, how many unhappily married people are around? And how many fat people get married? A lot. So, settle down. Oh my goodness gracious. That's happened to me quite a bit. I actually even, being in the dentistry, as I told you, I had to go to the chiropractor. I had, lots of back problems in that field. Naturally, anybody in the dental field, it's just one of those things. And I went to this new chiropractor because I thought, oh man, I'm young. I'm in my 20s and my body is aching all the time. So I was recommended to this new chiropractor and he's like, yep, come on in. We'll see what's going on, because I'm too young to be in back pain, So I go in and he does an exam and then he says, all right, I'm going to get an x-ray of your spine and make sure there's nothing serious going on. I said, okay, so I go back and he takes my x-ray and I'm sitting in the room and I'm waiting. And this was the days, like they weren't the digital ones that they have now where they can look at it right away. This was the days where, it was a big film, So they had to put it in the fixer and developer, I guess, to get it, So it took quite a while. So I'm waiting. And he finally comes into the room. And I was actually standing because it hurt to just sit for too long. So I was standing and he's looking at the x-ray and he's holding it up. It's a big film, it's my spine. And he's looking at the film and he's looking at my body and he's looking at the film. He's looking back at my body. He's looking at my face, look back at the film. He says, oh my gosh, you have such tiny bones. You'd never know it to look at you. Well, there goes my excuse for being a big bone girl my whole life. I was like not amused, but he felt it necessary to tell me that, I have tiny, tiny bones. So I suppose I should be a tiny, tiny girl. I'm short. I'm only 5'2", so, I'm always amazed when people, say things like that because you just don't think, I guess. I don't know. And again, he wasn't trying to be mean. He was just stating a fact. Looking at my x-rays, how tiny my bones were. And let's just say I have big muscles. Okay, let's say that. But again, this was in my 20s. Like, I wasn't that, I'm glad I didn't meet these people later in life. even in my 20s, my later 20s, I remember being at my sister's and having this god-awful backside pain on my right. Oh my gosh, it was just debilitating. So I thought, I better get to a doctor and see what's going on, Well, I couldn't even make it to the doctor. We had to go right to the hospital. So I get in the hospital. I'm in agony. They're like, oh, all right, let's get an ultrasound and see what's going on. I never had a pain like this. So, you're in the hospital, the ER, you wait a long time. The pain was terrible. They take me down for the ultrasound and, they bring me back up. I'm laying on the bed. They did finally give me something for the pain. And the doctor came in and he says, okay, well, I figured out what it is. He says, you have an inflamed gallbladder. So, you probably have some stones in there. There's none there now. So I don't recommend that you get your gallbladder out. I mean, my goodness, I was in my late 20s, maybe the latest early 30s. I'm going to say late 20s though. He says, but yeah, you need to start thinking about changing up your diet. That might help because, this is very common for people like you. I said, people like me? Well, what do you mean? He goes, fat, freckled, fertile, and 40. I said, fat, freckled, fertile, and 40. Okay. I said, first of all, I'm still in my 20s, and I did not look that old. So I don't know where he was coming from. It must just be a saying. But that's what he said to my face. Yep. Fat, freckled, fertile, and 40. 40, that was an insult, too. I wasn't that fat. I mean, I really wasn't. When I look back then, when you look back on pictures and you think at the time, boy, I would give anything for that body now. At the time, you thought you were so fat, but you'd look back and think, well, I look back on those days, I had a pretty nice body. But no, this doctor felt it necessary to tell me that. So we've learned that I have small bones. And fat, freckled, fertile, and 40. That's the higher cause of people to have gallbladder disease. I did eventually end up getting my gallbladder out when I was pregnant with I waited till after I had my daughter, but I had another attack when I was older, and I did end up getting my gallbladder out in the long run. So I guess I just have those genes. But people's comments always crack me up. I have so many of these types of things that people have said to me. Things kids say right to my face. I always had this little tiny brown mole on the left side of my nose. And I cannot tell you when I worked with children how many children said, you got a boogie. Oh my gosh. I finally ended up having the mole removed because it just was, I didn't want people thinking that. But it always amazes me how many times people have come right out and said things like that to me about not having a boyfriend or about, my body's, size and again, these aren't even people trying to insult me. These are just people in regular conversation that just feel the need to tell me these things. So I thought I'd share that with you. Thank you so much for listening to my podcast. This is so cathartic for me to tell you my funny stories. And I love that you're listening, and I love your feedback. I love everything that when you write and you tell me, that you like it. And I love the positive feedback. I'm going to continue to try to post every single day. And I hope you keep enjoying these as much as I'm enjoying doing them. I really still have a lot more funny stories to go. And I'll see you soon. Don't forget to follow and tell your friends. Share some laughs with them. Have a great day. Bye.